and welcome to this Carveco tutorial. Today I'm using the full Carveco, the industrial program of Carveco, and I've had a lot of people ask me about AMAXs or fourth axis programming. Well, this is the best program to use. Especially if you're using a CNC Router or something like that. Must apologize, I'm using a webcam at the moment, so you know, if I'm not actually looking directly at the camera and I'm looking at my screen, maybe a little bit off-putting to some people, but it's all I can manage for the moment. I must also apologize for not being able to regularly put up videos this time of year because because I suppose of global warming or something, but in our case down here in Tasmania it's global cooling and wetting, because it's at the moment 8 degrees and it's supposed to be you know, we're only a week or so out from Christmas, and it's supposed to be like 30 plus degrees, and you know, we're having quite a few inches of rain per day, and like I say, it's like 8 degrees today and I'm wrapped up in my office because I just can't film in my workshop because it's a tin roof, and you know, it's deafening in there. So anyway, got a nice hot cup of coffee, and we'll get on with this tutorial today. So this tutorial today I'm going to be doing in inches for you. I've had a lot of people ask me about whether I could do tutorials in inches, so I will be starting to do a couple for you. So I'll go full screen on Carveco now, and you'll see me a little bit later in this video. Okay, so to start this particular piece of work, we're going to go up to the new model. Let me see, probably about 18 inches wide and 45 inches long. This is it could be a vase, it could be a segment, or even a full you know, sort of extended bed post then, or even you know, the post for the top of the stairs or bottom of the stairs for the banister, you know, that type of thing. So it's not particularly any particular object. It could be regarded as a lot of different projects. So you know, this is what we're going to use today. So we're going to say OK. So I'm going to be working in the 3D screen today. So that's the 2D screen. So this is the 3D screen, and we're going to, first of all, we're going to use several tools here that I don't normally use, so I'm going to be introducing them to you, or shall we say several processes. Now, and to use these processes, there's a particular way of working. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to draw just one single line at the top of our piece of work there. Now I finish, and then I'm going to draw a line on the bottom of our piece of work here. Now in Carveco talk, these are drive rails. In other words, it's like rails for a railway. I am going to do another shape just off the piece of work here, and I'm going to tell Carveco that I want to run that shape or drive that shape down these two rails. Okay, so we're going to pick that tool again, which is a Polyline tool, and we're going to say we want rounded smooth polylines. So I'm going to start up here off the piece of work, well, fairly close to the piece of work actually there. So that's going to be our first point there. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see in a bit of detail what I'm doing. So I'm going to come out here a bit. I'm just going to put a bead, as it were. Make it a nice big bead. So I'm going to go here like this, and just wrap it around there like that. I'm going to come down a little and then out this way. Just a pleasing sort of shape, really, that, you know, you would sort of expect a sort of a bed head, or, you know, hang on, let me just come out here a bit so I can see what I'm doing, get a better perspective on it then. So it's just going to be a rounded, elongated shape like this, sort of like a banister support, as it were. And we're going to come in here a little, and we're going to go, that's good enough, and another small bead down the bottom here. Zoom in, sort of like there, with a little bit of a flat on it, like that, and finish. Okay, so that's our shape that we're going to use. Now I'm going to come up here and choose the 2-rail sweep tool. Now this is a dialog box or a wizard. You could regard this as a wizard, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this top one here, because it's asking you to set first drive rail. So this is one of our drive rails, so we've selected that, and I'm going to press this to say, well, that's the first drive rail. So then it asks you to set the second drive rail. So here's the second one, and we're going to collect that. We're going to choose that rather, not collect it. Now this is our cross section. Okay, so we're going to say, okay, well, this is the cross section we want to use, and it's accepted that. And okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, it's already set on add. You can subtract it, which would give the opposite. This would be down in this direction. So I would suggest to add this onto the material, and then I'm going to press apply. And we'll drop this, get rid of this now, and we'll go to the Twiddle tool, and we'll twiddle around with this and have a look. So there's our shape that we started with, and I've used the 2-rail sweep to run that shape across our material. And if you left it like that and run toolpaths, it would carve that particular flat shape, well, shall we say that shape on a flat, and that's all you would have to do if that's what you wanted for something like a pelmet or something of that nature. But we want to actually wrap this into a Rotary file. But I'm going to do something a little bit more interesting. Let's look at it square on, and I'm going to go back into Carveco now and say, well, you know, to make this more interesting, let's put a 3D relief on it. Let's choose, I don't particularly want to, I could put texture on it, but I think we'll put something a little bit more interesting. Let me see, we could put an animal on it, but I think what we're going to do is post, probably not. So I'm just running through some of these now to just objects maybe. I don't think there's, oh, here we go. That might be quite nice. That'll make it really royal, wouldn't it? You know, we could put that on. Why not? So I'm going to get that. I'm going to bring that over here. And we're going to make that a lot bigger than what it is. We're going to say, let's have a look. Oh, that's very, very small, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lock on. Not really worried about the Z. So what I'm going to say is I want this 12 inches high, oh sorry, 12 inches wide, and the aspect ratio is going to stay the same, so I'm going to say 12 inches. That means that's nearly 14 inches in height. And I want this to be, I don't want it particularly deep, so I'm going to, quarter of an inch I think would be okay. So I'm going to say 0.2 of an inch actually. I think quarter of an inch might be too much, which would be 0.25. So I'm going to say 0.20 of an inch for the Z height. I'm going to apply that. Now just going to, let's bring this down slightly. I'm going to place this by eye. I think I want to place it here, somewhere there. Not quite on the tip of our rounded shape here. Sort of, that would be fine. That's a good area there, I think. So I'm not particular in placing it exactly to 1/1000th of an inch. I think by eye is fine. I'm not going to say merge high, I'm going to say add on top of the material, because I find that is a better option for something like this. So I'm going to paste that down, and let's have a quick look at that. So I'm going to get the Twiddle tool again and roll this over. Better get yourself a cup of coffee, this is going to be fairly long. That's okay. I just want a, just an indication. I don't want it to be the major thing here in this piece of work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap this now. Shall I wrap this now? No. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now I am going to machine this first. So we're going to go up here to Toolpaths, 3D Machining, and the whole relief. I'll do a roughing operation. Of course, this is in millimeters. Now the inches tools are all the way down here. You just open them. This is a tool tree then. So we're going to use a 1/2 inch ball mill for the roughing operation. Get rid of the material really quickly. So we're going to select OK for that. And we'll go in here. We may as well set the parameters for this now. And I like to separate this out between the roughing and the finishing. So we're going to say step over 0.6 of an inch. I think we can actually, because this is a roughing, I think we can go 0.2 will be fine. Step down, 1/2 inch step down. Yep, that'll be probably we'll go a little bit conservative here. 0.3. 100 inches per minute. Probably okay for the rough end. 30. Yep, that'll be okay. And it's Carveco's in this case picked the correct settings for this. We'll leave this pretty standard. Not really worried about lead-in moves. You know, my router is a 2.2 kilowatt router. It's fairly powerful, so you know it'll handle that just fine. Safe Z. I'm going to leave the Safe Z because we're doing a 4-inch. Sorry, we're doing a AMAX machining. I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to say that this is 5 inches, just to give me a little bit of material on the bottom. I'll say that's okay. So this is going to be, I'm just going to abbreviate here. I'm just going to say this is cut 1 and calculate now. That's fine. What I like to do is get out of that entirely, go back into this. It's just my practice that I do. Finishing, whole relief, come down here. Now I would think that a finishing for something this large would be fine with a 1/4 inch tool. No need to go any smaller because there's no fine detail as such. So I think that will be fine. So I'm going to select that. So let's check on the parameters. I'm going to go with that because then the closer that you can make the step over, the less finishing by hand with sandpaper you have. Step down, 1/4 inch step down. Yep, that's fine. Probably wouldn't go any deeper than that. Feed rate 100. Yeah, that feed rate's fine. and the plunge rate is okay. This I'll probably take it up to 20,000. I think that would be more realistic. Everything else is the same. So I'm going to put this down as cut 2. Fin for finishing, and we're going to calculate now. Okay, so we're going to come out of that, and what I'm going to do now is come into relief. Oh, before I come into relief, I'll machine that. When I say I machine that, I mean that let's do a simulation on this. All toolpaths, very fast, simulate. And there it is. Now then, wrapping, very easily done. You come up here to relief, scroll down, create rotary relief, wrap around. Now I normally wrap around the Y, because my AMAX runs sort of north-south on the table, and there it is. Obviously the gold is the wrapped version. So let's get the Twiddle tool and have a look. It doesn't really matter that it's showing the the flat version there. I think you get the idea that this is now a rotary piece of work, and you can see that the design has actually come out on the rotary version as well. That's a little better. So I'm just flashing through some of these tools so you can actually see what they do. And that's turning the rotary relief on and off. So there you are. Now then, exporting the file. This is where to go to. So this is where to go to actually export the file. Now, let me just put this one over. So we're only interested in this one at the moment. Test one, let's cut one actually. Cut one. Now then, rotary file. Now in my case, because I am slaving the rotary axis to my X, in other words, I am plugging my rotary axis into my X axis, in other words, I'm disconnecting the X axis, The previous video to this will show you how to do that actually. I would export in this format, a normal standard format. But if you have the type of milling machine or a router that has a fourth axis input or output, in other words, you can have the four connected and they're all catered for, you use these here. This is the fourth axis output. Now this is the one that you can use here. You can use the other one as well, and that will run your fourth axis if you have a dedicated fourth axis output. Okay, so you would save it in that format. And the next one is the same. Cut 2. And there you go. It's as quick as that. So this was a very, very quick shape. I just roll it around so you can see. You know, if you have a specific shape in mind, obviously, you know, it's very, very easy. Should I say simple to make the shape that you require. You can, you know, sort of make it a specific measurement, you know, but I find with wood, with you know, with wood, so long as you're within you know, 1/16 of an inch, it really doesn't matter. You don't have to be more accurate than that, especially when you have a large piece like this. You know, this is 45 inches long. And you know, length doesn't matter, I suppose. As long as you're within 1/16 of an inch, it's going to fit. You can make it fit. Okay, so that really is the full process of making a fourth axis file with Carveco, the full industrial program. It really is, as you know, Carveco the program and the guys behind this program have made it so easy. Let's bring me back up actually. There I am. You know, the guys at Carveco have made this program so easy to use. You know, this is an industrial program, and you know, if you are in the business of making wooden or metal high-class parts or objects in an art formation, there isn't a program out there that will touch it. It's very quick. You can see how quick I actually put this together and made it look so simple, because it is. It really is simple to use. Okay, underneath this program, underneath this video, I will leave a discount code for you which applies right across the Carveco products, whether you purchase outright, monthly, whatever program that you're going to use, you get a discount, my discount, on those programs. So thank you for watching the video today. It's been a fairly long one, but I think you'll agree it's you know, it's very simple really when you know how. and pop along and have a look at some of my other videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you really like what I'm doing, to help me out, you may consider becoming a patron to the channel. So thank you for tuning in and being interested in what I do and the supporting programs. And I hope to see you again on my channel, and it's bye for now.